Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we'll be learning how to cut this trendy handkerchief skirt. Here I'll be using this Ankara fabric. So for this tutorial I used 4 yards. I used more than 4 yards. You know Ankara is not up to 36 inches. If you'll be using a crepe fabric, you're going to be using 3 yards of fabric. You know crepe is by 60. So now I'll be checking what we have here. You know Ankara is by 45 inches, so I would need to add more length to my Ankara fabric to make it longer. So I'll be making it around 60 inches. I'll add more to my foot, like I'll sew more than extend it. So that's what I'm trying to confirm right there, because we are going to be folding our fabric into 2. We'll be folding it into 2, so that will be 30 inches. Then before we now fold it into a box. So here I already joined my fabric, and my fabric is now 30 inches on fold. I hope you understand me. I have joined it and I have folded it, so it's 30 inches on fold. So now I'll be taking my radius. I'll be cutting out my waistline. For this area you can use, for mine I didn't attach a zipper. I used a band, so I made it band. I attached, so I used my hip measurement. My hip measurement is 50 and I divided 50 by 4. So for this I used 12.5 for the so that the skirt will be able to move to my bum. If you'll be using a zipper, you don't need to use this my method. You should divide your hip by your waist rather by 6.28. Then with that you get your hip measurement, or you divide by 4. You divide your waist by 4 to get your waist measurement. That's if you'll be using a zipper. But for this I'm using an elastic band, so I used my hip measurement, which is 50. So I have marked it there and I've made it into a curve. So that is me trying to confirm what I have there. I'm going to be cutting that out now. To get my length, I placed my tape rule and took my measurements. Initially I used 30, but I later reduced the length of the skirt because I'll be adding a 2-inch band to my skirt. So what I'm marking there is 30 inches, but I later reduced it by 2 inches. I later cut it off. You can see I later cut it off. I reduced it to 28 inches. So I'll be marking 30 inches here and mark it straight down, and that's what I'm trying to rule out there. I marked it straight down, and on the other side you see what I'm doing. I'm trying to mark it into a box. It is a very simple tutorial. So on this side too, I'm going to take 30 inches and mark and connect to make it a box. But like I said, I didn't later use 30 inches. I used 28 inches because I was going to be adding a 2-inch band. So I didn't know my camera didn't capture what I was doing. I already marked it, and what I'm just doing is to connect before cutting. It is a very, very simple tutorial. It is an old skirt. In fact, I've made series of it in the past. I have a dress, I have it in a gown, I have it in a skirt. So it's a very old style that just came back again. So now what I want to do now is to cut. So I'll be cutting. This is I'm cutting out my waist, like you see me doing. I'm cutting out my waist, and I'm going to cut out the skirt. I'm so sorry my camera didn't capture those areas. So what I'm doing there is I'm just cutting it out. Please, if you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. I will answer. And please like and share my post if this post has been helpful. And I won't be showing how to make the band in this tutorial because I have series of tutorials on my page. If you go down my page, I have tutorials on how to make the elastic waistband, so I won't be showing it on this page in this tutorial. So that's my waist. That is where I'll be attaching the band to. I'll make the band separately, the 2-inch band, and attach it here. This tutorial is beginners friendly. It's very, very easy to understand, and it's straightforward. So that's what we have there. So we go on to sewing. So this is what my outfit looks like at the end after sewing, after attaching the band. And if you want a tutorial on the blouse too, you can drop a comment. Thank you.